This is a topic worth repeating. What's some advice you wish you'd have known as a teenager?
It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
Welcome, Money Guy family. It's your host, Brian Preston. And guys, this is one that's timeless. And it's actually near and dear to my heart because I have a teenager in the house.
That's right.
And I want to give a happy report because I did a show last year when my daughter was 14 and it was titled Financial Advice for Teenagers, Ways to Win with Money.
Sure.
And I want to tell you, just in the last 2 to 3 weeks, we funded her Roth IRA.
Oh, that's awesome.
For 2018. And
she's how old? She's 15?
She's 15 now. And
awesome.
what's really fun for me, and remember I do a dollar for dollar match.
Right.
What's really fun for me is that she hit the market on a good time with all this volatility that over the next 3 to 4 days, it was up about 3 or 4%.
Nice.
And I got her to see, I showed her on the account. I was like, look, how many hours would you have to work? And it was 15 hours of babysitting to get her account balance.
She got to see what it's like when an army of dollar bills goes.
So Money Guy family, this is an exciting one. So go to moneyguy.com. Also, make sure you sign up. If you go to moneyguy.com, give us your email address. You know, we're constantly giving away stuff. I mean, I don't know if you guys caught it. We just did a show with the Next Millionaire Next Door. We gave away a lot of copies of that book. And we give away tumblers when we do our live shows. Get connected with us because membership pays. So definitely join in. Bo, what are we covering today and how did this come about?
Yeah, so if you go out to our website, moneyguy.com, you can actually go there and ask us a question. So if there's something you're curious about or you have a financial question, you can ask us and we'll answer it.
Or even share a story.
Or share a great story. And so a lot of times we'll do our series, #AskTheMoneyGuy. But this question was so great, we said, you know what, let's actually dedicate a whole show to this. And I'm just going to read the question straight off so you guys can know it. Here it was. It says, I love your show. Thank you for the opportunity to learn strategy while I'm still in my wealth building years. I'm a youth leader at my church leading a group of high school students. While your information is extremely helpful to me, I'm in my mid-20s, and even younger people coming out of college, I'm wondering what lessons you would want to teach teenagers ahead of going out into the real world. What do you wish you knew at their age? Again, thanks for everything you do. I've really started to love personal finance and finding your show. God bless. And that's from James.
So, James, here's the thing. The way I've broken these show notes, and this is going to go pretty quick because I know attention spans at this age are a little less, so we're not going to go as deep on certain things so we don't lose them. But here's the key takeaway. I'm going to start with the analytics, and then we'll talk about some life advice. The key analytic and the most powerful thing that a teenager can do is you need to understand that time is like rocket fuel for money.
That's right.
I mean, and I've deconstructed this number to give you some pretty exciting data. So here's the key thing. People lose their mind when we share with them that $1 for a 20-year-old that's invested like in the S&P 500 that can earn 10% over an entire career up to the time that they retire at 65. So that 45 years of money working and growing for them with their army of dollar bills, that $1 grows 88 times over. That's right, $1 can turn to $88. People lose their mind when they hear how valuable that is. I want to go a completely different direction. What happens to the 15-year-old? I mentioned my daughter is saving. Do you know what happens to that 88? It grows 145 times over. So that's huge.
I want to think about this. I want to go back to the example you just said, right? You said that you put this money in, it went to work, and it made like 3% in a couple days because of the volatility. And how many hours of babysitting did you say that was?
I mean, we figured out it was going to be like close to 15 hours worth of babysitting.
So, you know, if you take, did you say how much it was? How much you put in? Was that it?
I mean, okay, I was trying to keep the numbers.
So 15 hours of babysitting, but I'm just thinking, think about that. If you were to tell your daughter, you take that money and multiply it times 145. How many hours of babysitting was that? It was 15 hours of babysitting. Times 145. That's 2,175 hours of babysitting that those dollars can take away that you didn't have to earn.
Now, a lot of you guys, especially you teenagers, you're kind of cynical. You're probably listening and goes, of course. I mean, but the thing is, dude, I'm broke. Broke is a joke. So let me give you another perspective on this that hopefully will get you excited about things. Is that a lot of you are probably thinking, I don't have a lot of money. And the system recognizes that but your money is so much more valuable than a person that does have means.
That's right.
Let me break this number down another way. When you're 15 years old, if you compare what the growth opportunity is for a 15-year-old versus a 40-year-old that only has 25 more years in the workforce versus the 15-year-old that has 40 years that their money can grow for them, that 40-year-old's money can only grow by about 7 times fold, so a 7-fold increase. Whereas remember, the 15-year-old is a 145-time increase. So here's the analogy and the visual I want you to have. When you open up your wallet and you see $10 in there,
Like 10 $1 bills.
10 $1 bills. What each one of those dollars is actually worth compared to your brethren that are 40, or say your parents.
Yeah.
Maybe that's your parents that are 40. That's like every dollar you have is worth 20 of their dollars.
It is 20 times
So when you
more
open up
powerful.
your wallet of $1 bills, it's actually like each one of those dollars could actually be a 20. So if you had 10 of them, that's actually $200 sitting in there. And that's what I think people don't understand. You think about, are your parents walking around with $200 in their pocket? Usually they're not. But that's because I'm just telling you, your money when you're 15 years old, when you're a teenager, is so much more valuable than what a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old, a 50-year-old. So don't feel sorry for yourself just because you don't have much money. A little bit goes a long way when you're young. So that's the key concept. Time is so valuable, but it's also it has a relative, or it's just like when you make the magical volcano that blows up for your science project. You have to mix, what is it, baking soda and vinegar, because those things, you've got to have the 2 key ingredients to have that explosion.
Is it vinegar or hydrogen peroxide? Is it vinegar? I haven't made a volcano in a
But
long
go
time.
with it. Go with it. Even if we're wrong, we got to go
put
with
some
it.
Vinegar in
The
there.
other key component, just like you got to have time, the other part is that whole concept of deferred gratification. If you can take a little bit of your happiness today and invest it for the future, it will be so much more powerful and just have a huge benefit. That's how you build empires. Dave Ramsey has a saying that you live like no one else now so you can live like no one else in the future. It's the same way for you teenagers out there. You really can do some incredible things. I wanted to focus on some key decisions. Here's something, Bo and I actually have talked about this in the last month, is that I was talking about how if you think about the decisions you make when you're young, how they have such a huge impact for the rest of your life. I mean, when you're trying to get your very first job when you're 22, which I know you teenagers are not there yet, but your age has made it where there's not that many years that you get to differentiate yourself from everybody else. So that's actually, there's an opportunity there, I think of, if I look at things from a glass half full standpoint. So the decisions you make when you're young are important. Here's the key ones I want you to pay attention to. Your grades in school matter, guys, especially you high school students. And I tell this to my daughter, and she's taking it serious, and I'm very thankful for that. But you got to get decent grades so you have the opportunity for that next thing. And I know you're probably thinking, well, man, I have so many distractions. Why would I do that? It's the same thing, that whole deferred gratification with money, so you can give a little bit of yourself now so you have a big result in the future. It's the same thing with the way you use your time and your resources and your brain power. So get good grades in school. You need to also be a self-starter, a self-doer. One of the things I think that is important is, start trying to figure out if you know how to do laundry. Do you know how to speak up for yourself, meaning that if somebody shorts you some money when you pay for something at the store, are you actually going to speak up for yourself? Or when you go to a restaurant and they don't give you all the things you ordered or sauce or something, do you actually defend yourself?
You're an advocate for yourself.
Are you an advocate for yourself in a very respectful way? Because you got to give a good first impression too. As I will tell you, I had back when I was on back in public service. One of our superintendents had a son, and I ran into him in a grocery store, and I will never, ever forget how good his handshake, his eye contact, and I told my wife, because we were there, I said, he's going to be extremely successful. Just off of, and this guy had not even graduated high school yet. Just by a handshake, I could tell this guy was assertive, he was willing to stand up for himself, and he made a great first impression. That is so powerful, guys. So don't do the aloof thing where you don't know how to give a handshake, you don't know how to look somebody in the eye. That stuff matters.
That's right.
I also want to talk about making a habit of challenging yourself. There is so much, guys, I feel for you. I mean, I've seen these first-person shooters now. I almost didn't make it through my freshman year of college because of this football game on Nintendo called Techno Bowl, and you look back at Techno Bowl, you probably go on YouTube and see it, and it looks like stick figures running
pixels
across.
running
It's pixels really running across the screen. Now you guys have where it feels like you are in the middle of the action. Be careful with how you use your resources, because I need you to challenge yourself from a young age, because that's what's going to put you in a position to have success in the future. And Bo, you come from humble beginnings. I mean, is that something? I mean, what was your mindset as you were going through these?
I think you said something really, really interesting that I always clued in on when I was young, is that it's really hard when you're 14, 15, 16, 17 to be a lot different than those others around you, because you're all taking the same classes, you're all in the same school, same stage of life. So you have to find some way to make yourself a peacock. Well, one of the ways you can do that is going that road less traveled, taking that extra step. Maybe that means taking AP classes or pursuing an extracurricular or training harder, extra practice for the sport that you're involved with. Whatever that is, if you're willing to put in that little bit extra, it's that little bit extra that's going to make you stand out just a hair higher than all of your peers. And that can make all the difference early on when you're young.
And here's one that I think it's not a financial concept, but man, it leads to a lot of financial benefits.
Yep.
The power of thank you. Bo, and this is, I hate to keep coming back to you, but you are a perfect case study, is that this is a known fact. If you receive things that are given to you and opportunities are given to you, and you have a thankful heart and you go out of your way to thank people and make sure that the person that gave it to you just knows how happy and gracious you are for that gift, people want to give you more stuff.
That's true. It's
I mean,
true.
and you have discovered this. I have watched you in action. I fell for it for myself, and then I've seen you with other people, because we've had, people that like to take us out to lunch and stuff, and you always go above and beyond to say thank you. And I will tell you, having a teenage daughter in the house, whenever we have, a friend of my daughter's travel with us on vacation or come over for a sleepover or go out to eat, that friend that says thank you after I buy their meal,
it makes a difference.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, there really is something about somebody saying thank you. I really thank you. Really appreciate you buying me, that meal. That meant a lot to me. That people will give you more opportunities if they feel like you are appreciative of that. And that's something, I know that sounds like so much common sense, but guys, it is something I bet if you look around at your peers, they're not doing it.
That's right.
And it's something that is so easy for you to do. And who doesn't want more free opportunities and free things given to them? So take them up on that. And then here's the magical, it goes with that gracious heart too. And this is something I try to tell my daughter, and I will go ahead and tell you, there's so many books that have built entire brands off of this next concept. If you can learn at an early age that the secret to success is to make everybody feel special, because I want you to know this is just a natural thing. All of us as humans, the human condition is that we want people to treat us well, and we want to kind of have somebody make us feel special. Make us just like, you really do want people to make you feel like you're here and you're recognized and somebody's giving you all their attention. So if you can catch on at an early age that to treat everybody, there's a reason the golden rule is to treat people the way you want to be treated. It's going to open up so many doors for you. One of the things I think is even a step further is the selfless heart.
Yep.
And give some thoughts on that, Bo.
Yeah, I think it's not always about treating other people well so that you'll benefit from that. That's not
that's
really
a good point, because
sacrifice,
your heart needs to show how you feel.
It's about how that makes you feel, and you want to share that with other people. You imagine if you can be that source for someone else. It's just amazing what that can do. How that can change somebody's day. How that could even change somebody's life. So if you are able to serve others with a selfless heart, it's just amazing at what that can do for them, but also you'll be amazed at what it can do for you. So James, I thought your question was just fantastic. What would I tell? And I'm just going to go back through them real quick because I think that's the Cliff Notes way to do it. For young folks, your single most valuable resource is time. Just recognize that you have time on your side, and small efforts can make big differences. $1 can turn into 88. $1 can turn into 45. That gets really exciting.
145.
145. That's right. Focus on key decisions in life. Things you make early in life, decisions you make early in life matter later on, and then be willing to go the step above. Make sure that you're challenging yourself, but you're also treating people the way that you would want to be treated and showing others the things that you would want them to show you.
And saying thank you. I mean, that is such a key thing. If you can do that, it's so simple. Those two, if you can say please, thank you, there's a reason that Chick-fil-A has everybody saying my pleasure. So guys, do this. You will be successful, and then all your dreams can come true. Because I get so excited when I talk to teenagers about, man, if you can just have a hunger and a curiosity for life, the world really is just an open canvas of opportunities. So go out there and attack. And then here's the thing. If you're a teenager or you're a parent of a teenager or a grandparent, you have teenagers, go share this video with them. Also, like the video, subscribe down below, and then also share with us your email address so you can keep this great content coming to you. I'm your host, Brian Preston, with Mr. Bo Hansen. We'll continue to share the great news of good financial management and going beyond common sense.